understand it, there are individuals who are hired to walk around the building 24/7 just looking out for fire.
Yes.
How have we got to that stage?
The estate is a great fire. It's the palace. As you say, we've got fire watchers. They're there 24 hours a day going round, making sure that the places that there isn't a fire, which are absolutely catastrophic. So the sort of maintenance minor costs each year, it's about £15 million cost the public purse. But then there are other major projects as well, which this year, next year, the year after, run at roughly about 100 million. So over the next 4 or 5 years, the cost of the public purse of just keeping it going is going to be about £400 or £500 million.
There are a number of parliaments around the world that have suffered this same dilemma, most notably and probably most comparably Canada, where they have decided to decant. For 10 years, multiple parliamentary terms, they are sitting in a pretend House of Commons, one that's built in a separate building temporarily, and they conduct their business in that. Is that what we're facing? Potentially over a decade of MPs not being in the same chamber that Winston Churchill stood in, that Clement Attlee stood in, that Margaret Thatcher stood in, potentially losing that sense of history for over a decade?
Well, that would be the best case scenario, just 10 years or more moving out, because if we try and stay in and work round it, it wouldn't have the same characteristics, the same features we associate with Parliament. I say that could take up to 70 years or more.
70 years?
Well, 76, I think, was the latest estimate, at enormous public expense. So the least costly option, and the one that would take least time, is that of both houses decanting for 10, 15 years, possibly a bit longer, so that it can be undertaken.
And I suppose the terrible irony here is that this is a palace that was constructed in response to a big catastrophic event. The old Palace of Westminster, the Church of St Stephen's and the rest of it burning down in 1834 as a response to a tally stick fire beneath the House of Lords.
That's the real danger, that there's a repeat, because there's a major fire risk, it could burn down. And the difference is that this time we're dealing with a site that's a World Heritage Site, Grade 1 listed. It's so iconic that we want to preserve it. So to lose it would be a complete, not just national disaster, but obviously international, global, in terms of its impact. So we need to preserve it. But the longer we prevaricate and can't make up our mind as to what to do about it, of course, the greater the danger of that happening. So the danger is the decision will be taken out of our hands because there will be some catastrophic failure.
So why is there all this netting around Victoria Tower?
That one is simply to catch any masonry that may fall. So it's actually a protective device, nothing to do with actually making any significant changes. It's purely because there have been problems with falling masonry throughout the palace. And I gather the Victoria Tower is a problem, and there is the prospect of some parts of it falling.